Winternomics.eth. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready to just Welcome to Winternomics.eth. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready to just Welcome to Winternomics.eth. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready to just Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready to just Winternomics. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Winter, 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 winter. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready to just Winternomics. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Winter, 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 winter. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly. Loading in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get ready to just Winternomics. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics. Winter, 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 winter. Welcome. Winter, 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 Winternomics.
What up? What up? What it do? What it is? We are back. Happy Monday, motherfuckers. How's your guys' weekend? Ooh, what an echo. No, we still both got COVID. It's definitely been a tough weekend, but we're here. Fucking fourth round of that shit, boy. You got kids in school in New York City, bro. It's fucking crazy. What the fuck? I'm off here. Let me look over here. All right. I feel fucking like I'm twisted wrong. Okay. Huh? All right. I don't want to touch that fucking camera. That thing drops right now. I'll just pass out. I feel like I'm looking to the right of my camera. What the fuck? All right. That feels better. All right. I got it. No, rest? Not at all. There's none of that happening at all. I slept like 2 hours last night. Same old. It is what it is, though. So how'd you motherfuckers do last week? Last week was definitely, a pretty fucking tough week in the markets, equity markets. Not as crazy in NFT markets as much, but very, very crazy in equities. You guys survive. Glad you dig it. This is another selection gem by Director Vale. So you remember Sky's the Limit. This is one of the iterations of the cloud filter. So it does Starry Night too, which is pretty dope. So we're gonna go back in time today. So I thought it was a good theme to say it was a bedtime story. Especially since the night show is now a morning show for some people. Maybe the morning show is gonna function like a night show for some people. I don't know. I thought it was funny. Damn, Ivy's loud. Preserve the capital. Good shit. Yeah, man. Survive. That's all you can ever hope for, right? I'm still sitting on the sidelines waiting for setups on time frames. Just remember, sitting in cash in a rapid de-risking environment is still a trade, right? Because, like we said in the chat, if you're holding X amount of dollars and everything you buy in dollars goes from here to here, then you've technically been short every risk asset you're not touching while holding cash. So don't feel like because you haven't gone and hit a button, you haven't done something. If you avoided the fucking market correction, right, and something that was once fucking $100 a share is fucking $70 a share, you can buy more of it, right? So it's still a trade. Looking clean and strong. Oof. I have to do something in this position. Alright. That might work. Yeah. Gonna have to kick back here a minute. Just did one winning trade and sat on hands. Winning is winning, right? There's a lot of people who can't say they won shit last week. You already know that. I can hear Director Vale hacking up a lung out there. You alright, girl? Yeah, it's fucking COVID, so, I guess we passed from underneath our vaccination window, so we got hit by it full force. And this is not supposed to be, I guess, one of the crazy strains that was out last, I guess, a year or two ago. But man, this shit sucked. You can hear it's crazy, right? So I'm in the room in the back of the fucking house. She's all the way down the hall in the living room, which is a decent hall. No, don't worry about it, girl. You gotta say oops. It's just what it is. It's just it's crazy. But with my son, in school and stuff, and then having no, protections, everything that they're gonna get is gonna come here. And you guys already heard monkeypox is in New York, right? So holy fuck. Pretty crazy. What do you guys think of monkeypox? You guys following the news on this? Sorry, I can't sit up too good. Yeah, I didn't go to the hospital for COVID. That wasn't that. I would wish it was just that, but actually not. Monkeypox is everywhere, dude. The speed that fucking happened, right? What the fuck? Like it's like Portugal, UK, New York. It's like appears in every continent like at the same fucking time. You know, it's like every. It feels like everyone only gets one disease now everywhere. Like social media has synced us up so much that motherfuckers that I talk to on social media in 5 continents get the same disease in the same day. It's crazy. I actually talking to people. One person in the UK, one person in I think it was in Switzerland or some shit, and we all are exactly we're sick. It's like what the fuck is going on, man? Man, if your family's down playing that shit, just make them Google it. All I know is I do not want that shit on my fucking body. No way, no shape, no form. That shit looks fucking terrible. The one thing though is I guess we do have a vaccine that exists already, right? That or supposedly older folks that were vaccinated, I think in the up to the 60s or 70s where they stopped it for smallpox. That vaccine I think is supposed to be 85% effective against monkeypox. So like any of your relatives are like I think north of like 55 years old should have it. Um, V3PO says 126 confirmed cases now, up from 109 12 hours ago. Where in the world is that V3PO? What's it in all food? Add garlic. What does garlic do? Is garlic some secret cure? What are you telling her? Don't poison her. Boof the garlic. Don't boof the garlic. I wonder if people take seriously the monkeypox epidemic because it would have visual impact on them. Well, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. People are fucking vain. That's why I say show it to them, right? You really can't show them a picture of COVID, but you can show them a picture of monkeypox. Trust me. If you watch this show, visual aids fucking matter, right? They do. Don't shove garlic in your nose. I can almost guarantee it's gonna fucking suck. Garlic makes vampires stay away from you. Whatever. Um, so 8:30. I got decent time here. So I want to get some stuff pulled up. Let me make sure I don't get myself into a corner and not get what I want pulled up. Pulled up. Director sounds like she's dying. Let's see. Close. Yeah, a couple of reload problems here. Hold on. Alright, where was the chart I had for this? I'll probably just make a whole new side by side to do this. Where did I put this woman's chart again? One sec. I just want to make sure I have the chart I wanted to bring up here. Oh, that's not it. When you visit it? There you go. We're gonna roadmap art today. All right, I got that set up for what I want. Think I have an idea of something I saw this morning that we're going to take a closer look at in a little bit. Not just yet. Just want to set that up, make sure I have my charts in the right place. All right. Whew. Boomers are always targets. Actually, do you have that vaccine The cat's already out of the bag, girl. Does she have? She probably would have it. She'd be the only person in the entire chat right now that's protected against fucking monkeypox. Do I think Elon actually buys Twitter or takes the $1 billion loss? I think he wants it. It's an amazing power to have. Don't think. Do you have it, Children Mom? You're the only protected person from monkeypox. Good to go. Um, I mean, I think I saw something where he's talking about getting a discount on the price they talked about based on the amount of bots as a ratio of the totally active users, and I think that's fucking fair, right? If there was a massive differential between what they discussed and what the bots really are, then yeah, he's paying for users, and some of them are not real. So if they had a price established based on 5% of the entire accounts were bots, and it's not, it's like 15%. So yeah, he should get a fucking renegotiation. I think that's more than fair, but I think he wants it, and I don't think whatever Trump fucking says, Trump wants fucking his ass on Twitter because Truth Social doesn't give him the kind of fucking coverage he had before. At the end of the day, Trump can speak directly to fucking world leaders through Twitter. He really can't through Truth Social, and we talked about it before that it was likely a play to keep secure funding for who he likely sees coming back to the White House, and then he ultimately says, "I'm going to be a Republican." So it's kind of I think it's a play he doesn't want to back out of. He takes it. It gives him a hell of a controlled platform. And Elon likes to fucking talk. Let's just face it. So I think he wants to have that power. We talked about it before. There was a James Bond movie called Tomorrow Never Dies, and in that movie, the one theme that stuck out of it's not the greatest James Bond movie, but it was just like I said, message over messenger. There's certain things that are super valuable when you hear it, and the greatest power you can ever have is the power over the mind. Control of the media and the ability to deliver a message is fucking insane, right? They can make us terrified of monkeypox, Ebola, Black Lives Matter, anything in fucking like moments. They can make the whole world say fuck Russia literally overnight. So what's more powerful than that, right? And thought precedes action. I can directly affect the actions of the world if I control the media. So I don't think that's lost on Elon. I think that he can see probably greater utility for Twitter than fucking the people running it. So I think he wants it. Camel burgers are amazing. She's talking about Campbell's soup, bro. What the fuck? That's funny. So before I jump into anything charts, let's just see if you guys give me scorecards because I know I was late in starting. Where are we at? Earnings for the week. Earnings for the week. What do we got? Anything we care about? Well, this is interesting for today, right? Let's check this out. So Kathy's biggest, claim to fame, this Zoom, she's tied to this thing. This is probably important to see what this guy does today, to be honest with you, since he's a growth stock directly tied to her crash cycle. Worth noting after the bell. Tomorrow, Best Buy is going to be important for fucking retailers and what they say about supply chains. Toll Brothers for housing, big time important right here. What the fuck he says is going to be big for everybody in fucking housing. With interest rates, pushing now up to 5, like this is definitely huge. Let's see what they say about the velocity of demand. Splunk for cybersecurity, Snowflake, you can pay attention to as well. Nothing really market moving about those guys. Macy's, you want to see what the fuck they say, and Costco. Both these guys will be pretty important too. And don't give a shit about anything there. Good stuff. Thank you, Izzy. Some success. What do we got? Cassius Bobby. What did you not hit? This. Alright, let's see what you did. Let's see where we at. Alright. To be successful during a high VIX environment, avoiding the harsh potential losses has been down to the information put out at CAS, learning to be a better risk manager on and off the charts. First trade was a short on Tesla, played off a key level from Stream/OnlyFans. Good stuff. Waited for a structure to form around that level and then played the rotation down. Left the trade a little earlier, however. Second trade is ADA. I determined a swing level at the dotted blue line from a larger time frame, but look back, I entered prematurely. The third trade from ADA, I let my emotions get the better of me at the time. I had a few wins in a row, and I let that put me off just being mechanical, so I paper traded instead. Fourth trade on Rune, I let a bear flag structure, and then just played the rotation. Keep it simple, stupid. Last trade was on ETH. And I took my eyes off it for a few minutes and missed a precise entry, and then FOMO'd in on a position less optimal, inevitably leading to a losing R. If I had used a conditional order, I could have let it map out and close a trade at 3 Rs for a quick in and out job. I've also made a large business decision recently, which wouldn't have been considered if it wasn't for CAS and the eco and the lessons being learned. Getting myself out of the mindset of the poor and the analogy of the person who always buys the budget tire instead of thinking about the long term is something tried to take on board. So assess my risk and decided to invest in a business mentor to help me. So far, so good. This is something I wouldn't have considered before. People who are successful invest in themselves to become more successful. People think they're like, I'll just do it all alone. They get out competed by a guy that understands how to leverage his time, right? Could you figure out how to build a fucking motor to put into a car so that we could rebuild a 1966 Ford Mustang? You could, all by yourself. Could you get a guy that's done like 5 of them to fucking help you get a head start? That would just be smarter. So, but people's egos don't let them say I need help and admit they don't know what they're doing. And those people die slow deaths. So this is really good, right? Once you just can admit you need some help and you can find a person that generally knows what they're doing and has some kind of proven track record to show you yes, I actually have started foreclosure companies. So I know exactly how to fucking go approach an REO and get us to fucking transfer fucking properties to get our fucking our inventory up. Once you talk to a person that knows what they're talking about, generally you know they know what they're talking about. Hopefully they're not a charlatan. But yeah, this is just intelligent. Decided to take a seat back after those wins while working on has been real busy. Thanks Kaz, Vicky, and Eco. A lot of content being put out recently and I've been complacent to keep up with it all. Now my work schedule is different. I think I need to re-strategize and pull myself out of complacency. So let's see. So yeah, you described all your trades and these look really good. And like I said, for all you guys who are new, right? Really thorough description of what he did with everything, including his mistake. And you can see the consistency of him watching his bear flag rotations and selling into these guys and where he defines risk. Where's his mistake at that he put in here? I think it's this one because he's late or something. I think that was it. But yeah, I think this is really good, for you guys to be able to see this stuff. So good stuff, man. Thanks for sharing. Catfish Bobby. And you don't have to watch everything. There's more intel than any one person is going to consume. So don't worry about that. Just consume what you can fit. So we're trying to keep it 5 days a week so people have something, in their time zones that's useful. And it's not, if you're not a 5-day-a-week trader, you're doing business and you kind of need to look in here. You use it where you can. Rewatch where you can. There's always something good in all of them. But at this point, I'm putting on enough now. You're going to be watching a Marvel movie, a couple Marvel movies a week worth of fucking intel. Forex Factory, this is always good to note, guys. So our red events this week, FOMC meeting minutes. Again, that's going to be a market moving event whenever that drops. And then, of course, GDP for the USA on Thursday morning, also market moving event when that drops. Good chance that this will fucking miss. And something in here is going to be jarring. So I'd expect good volatility on those two events. Central Bank from New Zealand, really currency market specific, and then this would be currency market price specific, and or some market moving shit for the DAX. But Bank of England, he speaks today at noon. Didn't see that before, so that's probably worth paying attention to see what the fuck comes out of them. I know they're going to, I think, a rate cycle on the other side of the water as well. So the fight against rising prices is their main narrative. So most of these Fed and central bank guys are, out of the Eurozone, out of the United States, are going to jawbone, hawkishly to kind of tamp down risk taking. So Be interesting to see what he says. All right, last scorecard. This is Dr. Doom. Simple enough, right? Chase the low, got hit down there, reversed very quickly. That's pretty awesome, right? He lost right here and was able to flip around and flip the next direction immediately. That's a really, really, like, really good thinking that he could be that objective after taking a loss and try to make a plan and go backwards into it that way. That's pretty awesome, dude. Ah, good stuff, good stuff. All right. I think good scorecards, right? As always. All right, so you guys get a decent list. I do got to try to wrap up pretty close to 9. All right, so what do you want to talk about when we said bedtime stories? So, you know, as we're looking at Kathy compared to the emoji cycle of the 2001 crash, right, it stands to reason you probably zoom in a different resolution to really study what we're looking at since it's so close. So, when you first looked at this, and I have a ton of other drawings on there, but you know, so we drawn out the parts that we cared about though, right? Looking at this movement down, the breakdown from the neckline here, right? So we measured from here down 53%. We measured like wave down at the time we did it to this wave down. We contrasted this, and this likely like a denial flag that would lead into the climax low here where you get like panic. But for the wave that goes from denial and creates a low, I did want to look at some things that I think are pretty important, right? The moves you get in here are effectively what you call dead cat bounces, right? And they bounce hard enough to suck people in percentage-wise to think that you've got like floors established, right? And like if you don't really pay attention to how much down you are, there's lots of memes that make fun of it where people think like, you know, their portfolio's down like 90% and it bounces 2% and they're like celebrating. It can be a lot more drastic than that when you're in dead cats. So let's look at a few things, right? So this was the first wave we had down. We fixed this thing. See, he was like there, and then I don't know why I put this guy so far over sideways. But he's just to measure the next wave down. So when you get a bounce in these things, right, you know, down at this point, this percentage bounce is pretty crazy, right? It's 40% up. It's huge. What's this whole drop from here? This is a great tool to kind of give yourself a lot of perspective and stuff on markets. All right, this is a overall to that point, a 67% drop, but from here up, 40% pop. Right, so the percentages are retarded in each direction if you don't like really keep this whole thing into context. Down a lot right now, the market, you know, appears to have like, you know, a climax bottom into it. To watch these things, you want to pay attention because like in every one of these bounces, right, it was always the bottom. You know, when I watched this market come down, coming out, I was in college at this time, right? And every time the market bounced, you're about to go bull market, right? So like at, you know, Christmas rally 2000 was the media headlines going to here. This is a Santa Claus rally, and you know CNBC loves that stupid term. And as soon as this is happening, Santa Claus rally dies before Santa gets there, and fucking it's like Armageddon into the new year. These bounces are all insanely big too, percentage-wise, is in the stocks that are in them, right? When the index bounces 20%, you got to have stocks in there that are up like 30, 40, 50, you know, way more percentages. 30%. That's an index, right? That's not the fucking this highly leveraged fucking, you know, she's betting on just the biggest growth names. This is the whole index doing shit like that. So one reason I wanted you to look at this is just to kind of pay attention to like, you know, a lot of people get caught too. These movements are really rapid, right? You see how few up bars there are in this stuff. Like Like literally once it starts to roll, it's just fucking destruction all the fucking way. Like almost every goddamn day will crush you. And then you get like fucking vicious squeezes that fucking throw people off, just like these. This one, you look at it, you see a lot of decent wave action, but this one has that kind of semblance, right? Where it's just fucking collapse, 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 collapse. And you get a stay of execution in the bottom, and you can get meaningful bounces from it. This is a pretty decent leg. She makes a flag out here, totally can keep continuing down. But just to show you to pay attention to it, right? The bounces are worthwhile to play, if you can play them. This is before 9/11 happens, right? Sorry, no, this is 9/11. So this is the 9/11 low that happens here. And the market reopens, and going to October, you get this ridiculous bounce that people pretty much think America is going to survive, like that insane attack that's happened. It's totally crazy, but it's vicious, and it's very playable too. I mean, this is going to go from October all the way to fucking December. So at the resolutions we're dealing with in a crash of this scale, there's definitely meaningful upswings worth playing, even though we're sitting in a crazy environment. So I want to keep us in perspective, in both directions, and I think we did a pretty good job of keeping up with the crazy shit the market was doing last week. We had this projection for you guys on the show. Good old Ragnarok's TA, right? That motherfucker is golden. But we gave you guys a bear flag to pay attention to, and this gap level to pay attention to, and that was pretty much perfect, right? That rolled straight down, and you guys should have had a pretty easy play to make. So now just looking at where we are this morning. Why didn't I see pre-market? My pre-market SPY. Is my pre-market not on? Huh, why is it off over here? So pre-market right now we're 393. It's a pretty solid gap. We're gapping to that exact level that I told you to pay attention to. This is a gap level. There's also this reversal level, and you're opening on it. So this is going to be a good place to play off of today. It won't stay here. It'll probably have a decent move either straight back into fill the gap here, or we can have dildo rules take it up to challenge energy's level. Am I retarded? You know what? It is there. There's something covering it up on this side. Right? I'm not fucking blind. Yeah, I don't know why I don't see it on the right column. I must have turned something off. There you are. There it is. Okay. So, pretty good projection though, guys. From fucking the May 10th through sky's the limit. This is an insane fucking read for all this wave action. So we want to keep track of if this wave gets down deep enough. How do we play, another meaningful bounce? If there's going to be a meaningful bounce, he'll likely rotate higher towards this, lower this trajectory here, and your bounce is as high as it needs to get to then set up another leg to bottom the market. Something I put on Twitter, market bottoms, people don't want it at the market bottom. There are going to be waves to play, but when the market really bottoms, nobody will want this shit, and that's where the real, big opportunity lies in bigger resolutions of time. But for right now, I think, if we get any meaningful bounces, we're talking about dead cat bounces, and until the market proves me wrong, we'll keep that perspective open. So, that said, we want to look at structure. You have climax low, September 20th, rotating around. How long does it take for us to get a meaningful bottom? I start to see, price stepping higher and stuff like that to play any incoming squeezes that occur from here. So that's kind of what we're looking at, we're going to pay attention to. And we are just looking at a chance for a mirror of some of the bounces we saw in this, because these were meaningful plays worth having, right? Yes, they became huge bear flags, but if we're going to keep our eyes on this right now, the market's down pretty deep. I think you've got a bit of a fucking chance of a bounce in the cards, and so that's what we call it bedtime stories. Looking at this now, we can use this as a roadmap, and if this is going to rotate and give us a chance of squeeze, we should be right in front of that as well. I think it would be a bigger resolution kind of squeeze, something that can last over a month and a half or something like that. So if that's the case, and some of these things that are crushed into the ground have a chance of turning up and having hyper recoils, then we want to be able to turn with it if it does do it. Not saying that it's ready to do it this second, but the market's a little chill right now. The thing we keep a track of course, for this is give me our VIX. Let me put that over here. Wrong chart. VIX. VIX. So the VIX worry was that this bull flag would eventually rotate up here. It is really just chopping around in a range right now, and it is sitting in a very critical spot. So nothing is like safe yet, right? You're in a crazy spot. But this is where squeezes are going to come from. They're going to come from pretty high up in the VIX. So just zooming out right now, like, this is steep. If you're not part of like a major league short in this right now, like, you'll have to play pretty close and tight. This is dangerous. Like right now, anybody who didn't pay attention to the end of Friday, there's a squeeze back on the end of Friday, and you're seeing a gap into right now. Chance for probably like a low resolution squeeze, and we have at least this far to go. That's pretty decent. So, all eyes on the opening today and dildo rules. Some good levels have been hit by some stocks that I watch that make it viable. Tesla. This was like one of the key triggers. The first triggers we established down here, and this big bull flag to rotate Tesla out. The 652 spot, Tesla, wicked through it pretty hard. If you guys saw, they hit Elon with like a sexual, allegation or something pretty much as soon as he declared he's a Republican. And the Twitter thing is being hung around his neck. So I think, guys that you pay attention to in these moments, just the biggest names. I don't think you want to bottom fish for anything in 29 VIX. If squeeze shows up, you play the guy that has the greatest chance of squeezing with the market, The indexes themselves, obviously, SPY, QQQs. Keep in mind, shit like this still looks fucking like a train wreck, right? I have a decent technical level here because you're hitting off of an old all-time high of IWM. So all these lows are why I'm saying there's a chance for the market to at least give you something to bounce off of here. This is a decent mark down from this flag down to here, right? So he could keep tanking at this resolution just really rapidly. There's a chance though for like a meaningful little bounce here, and if he does that, some growth assets will probably bounce a lot harder than the Russell does. So QQQ here, and this is also looking across at some NFTs and stuff like that, like other asset classes. It does seem to see some stability there, right? A lot of like NFTs stopped really trading from the 12th and 13th of May, while the equity markets got fucking plowed. So let me turn that guy over in a second. Not like the greatest place on earth, but the triple Qs, for right now, didn't really continue down. This is a 2B on the low. So the S&P looked a lot worse, right? Not even. So you want to pay attention to this. As much as ARK looks like, holy shit, these guys are pretty stable down here. You've got like an index breakdown and then recoil. This is a pretty good line in the sand. Just on a short term today. We go into today. All right, so that's a stop run, right? This is not really as like concretely like sat here and just fucking cratered. Somebody got fucking put in and recoiled on the end of Friday. So it's a line of sand worth watching, at least going to today's session. You stay under this though, you can just roll right off and keep going. But like I said, right now I feel like we're extended down pretty fucking deep from this last recoil, and there's a chance out there for it. Let me see. Crypto things. We're gonna keep this guy in focus that we talked about. And this guy here is another read. So we talked about this, right? We wanted to see this high, when we talked about last week, hadn't broken down yet to give us a real low to be a true bull flag. Now it has. It's just broken it, so now this is real right now, right? So we projected for that to push down. It's wicked it ever so slightly. If it can keep deep diving down deeper, that's crypto strength. That's risk on slightly. So this is kind of like the perspective on what little bounce you're getting. You're getting from a bounce, which is really a corrective structure in the de-risk itself. BTC, it's like we said, this level, there's nothing under here, right? 30K is really it. If and when BTC is going to go through this, it's going to fucking be, apocalyptic shit. And that's likely the moment we're going to see, people like Sailor and all those guys have to, pay the piper. But for right now, you are at some interesting levels that are worth noting. Huge volume down here on MicroStrategy. He's actually climaxed into the POC of where he's been for quite some time. Let's zoom out a little bit on that guy. Yeah, he has literally landed in the core volume of the trenches of fucking 17 to 20. So all these are like meaningful. Huge bear flag. If you guys played this in OnlyFans, congrats. I saw some people crush this. This was a pretty easy one to see. So if you guys played this, it was pretty much a de-risk of crypto that you saw, de-risk of the market. Humongous volume climax on this. So, like I said, I looked at the resolution of the bounces from 2001, and you can have a bounce that lasts over a month right now, and nobody's mentally ready for that right now. People have gotten obliterated. Terra Luna is definitely a sentiment read. Multiple billion-dollar institutions got crushed. Melvin Capital just closed its doors. So, I think Melvin Capital is the guy that signals the end of the end of this wave. Not really, but I do think you do want to see big institutions like that get fucked up and get knocked out of the market and just cave in. So you're at least starting to see that. All right, so that's USDT. Talked about that. So keep that in perspective. It's still a bull flag, right? You're getting some strength here, like I said, off that. You're only lower resolutions, of course. Climax low, yeah. These guys could be doing something down here, like that. That's possible. They're pretty deep down. This market can easily roll and keep gassing at that speed if somebody's going to liquidate again, but these are the kind of structures at decent levels that are worth a shot if they get a little gas to them. Obviously these are low resolution things, so don't be a retard if you don't know what you're doing. Check apples and stuff like that. That itself, as bad as that looks, it's just parabolic at the moment, but you're sitting at a level that's at least worth paying attention to how he interacts with. So, just a possible pause in things. Like I said, I think Kathy has to fucking be knocked out of the market. I think Sailor has to be knocked out of the market. But with the full extensions downs that we have, I thought it was worth looking, back in time at the way those moves occurred. When you do bounce, to keep these things in perspective. Oops. This chart doesn't have anything on it, but if we're in something like that can bounce like this, or is even a sharper bounce like that, understand the real bottoms don't form really like that, right? They take kind of a longer span of time to really set up the structures that create the longer term bottoms. These things, when people get really zoomed in and the viciousness of these bounces, they really psychologically fuck people up. But the bottom is going to be the bottom of a major crash. Is usually takes a lot longer to put itself in. And in this time period, the psychology goes to the grave, and people just don't want what the fuck is coming out of here. So, we're likely looking at something with these resolutions. If they're going to fucking change directions, it's going to be pretty rapid. So, anyways, perspective things. Does that all make sense? Trader Z said, if you have one piece of advice for 20-year-olds to be successful, yeah, Salty's right. Risk management's the smartest thing out there. You don't know when you're going to find a 20x or 100x or 50xer, but if your goal is to stay alive till you do, right? So the goal is lose a little, make a lot. Like we talked about, right? You could have 100 ICOs out there, and you're like, which one of these guys will be fucking the next Ether? But if you had fucking 10 stacks and you threw $100 at each one, you would likely find it. And you wouldn't have to be a genius. You just have to make sure you didn't bet it all on something that fucking went to zero. So, risk management is one of the most important things. I think as something else that's on that is being willing to accept that you could be wrong. Most people can't do that, to a disastrous extent. I will try to throw a few symbols in because I did probably talk a little slower than I intended to, and see if we can give something on here. Poor people get paid for time. Rich people get paid for results. Yeah, you watched that video, huh? That's a good video. Dan Locke knows what he's talking about. Throw me some symbols real quick. Oh, that was all you threw? Thank God. All right, I can do that. MPC ZW1 DRV. MPC. So we had this guy on a big res here. So this is what we showed when, I guess, when he was up at this spot before, and you say pay attention to, like, when you have this, like, you hit a sorry, when you go to a major level like you do here, right? You can get a chop, like a box range we talk about, which is obviously some kind of a shock wave. You pay attention, let it go through there. It's dangerous. Oil is strong as fuck. We know that. So you watch this trajectory, right? If he violates this, it gets dangerous. If he does something like that, above a system now, right? He can keep on going. But this is generally what you want to do is, like, not let something chop you apart around a key level like this, but figure out if he's going to, like, correct against it or if he's just going to push out against it. This is now getting more exceedingly dangerous because it's just really, really fucking steep. And if oil has any kind of correction, he's going to correct against this and then turn up again and fucking go. If you're part of this, I know a few of you mentioned this stock before. If you've played it out highs, good trade. Chasing into something that this far steep right now is a little dangerous, and you probably want, like, another corrective structure. Now he's out here. You want to do something like here and stay up again, and probably a little bigger and then go. Just to probably, like, take a break from this fucking trajectory, but not come back through his trigger. That would be pretty fucking bullish if he does something like that from here. So we'll add that as a projection onto that. ZW1. What can we say for wheat? Pretty bullish, but do I like this structure? Not so much. As vertical as that is, with that's kind of actually very much like what you just looked at, right? We were like, hey, this is like retarded looking. See if he kind of like does this and does that. This guy probably, like, better if you see him above this system somewhere, like with a climax structure like that. You want this whole system to develop and then play him off the top of this. Where is it? DRV TSCO. DRV. Direction real estate bear. Oh, you betting you're trying to short real estate? You son of a bitch. Well, probably an interesting guy to play, right? When you're de-risking really hard. Toll Brothers would probably be pretty important to watch at this. You can see he's gapping down with the market doing a little bit of a risk-on gap in the pre-market. I was looking at, let's see, stop pre-market. Let's check pre-market right now. What is moving pre-market? So sector-wise, looks like it's tech, right? You can see Bali Tech. Apple's not one of the green guys. Costco and these guys. So I was looking at where strength is this morning. Crypto's kind of broadly flat. BNB is pretty strong. I see why you asked for that. Okay. That's going on there, it looks. I think Direction right now, I think if you fucking get, pretty easy to see, if you get a break above that, that'd be probably where the market's taking another shit to the fucking floor. And that would definitely be worth paying a fucking attention to if you see that guy get a top that. That's probably where you get your bull play on this dude. So if you see anything like up here for this shit, then the stock market itself is likely getting fucking annihilated also at the same time. What's that? October 6, 2001. October 6, 2001. It's Nomics, right? It's right here. Okay, it's interesting. Yeah, I pay attention to a fucking sustained breakout above that. TSCO. So this is a projection we had from way back whenever we looked at it, that he would have a massive corrective structure that was necessary because he was so fucking extended like this. He's a much larger breakout of a system. So you have this, you have that rotation. I felt like, he was so extended, he needed a much larger corrective structure. So I think this fucking qualifies as that. And I don't think he's fucking done, but I think he is getting hurt by fucking, like, supply chain problems. So, if I track anything right now, to be honest with you, the trajectory the market's at, I track this. I'd like this res. And then he's gone right into, let's take this blue box off of here. So yeah, we're looking for basically, massive corrective structure. I think this can qualify as it. So rotation from that might be worth paying attention to if he survives that level. If he doesn't, the next area you care about is going to be see if he lands and holds right inside of that. So if he came down as deep as this, that would I think would be it if he did that. Let's check something like Deer. Deer got fucking hit on earnings pretty bad. Deer is through this range right here. I think you watch Deer right here. If he comes back across that. Caterpillar's still up there. Alright, yeah, I think that's that. And that was the last one you had? BNB BTC. BNB BTC, BNB. I guess nobody's asked for that thing in a minute. Is that the last time we've really done this chart? Yeah. Damn, son. That's pretty funny. Let's see. I really feel like I did this somewhere else before. Pretty interesting. Did I not do this anywhere recently? Oh. Slacking. Pretty well sustained here, huh? Well, we definitely noted his amazing bull flag structure that he loves to do. And he's sitting here with it right now, honestly. Attempting to rotate that. He's just, the Ponzi Nomics of fucking CZ are fucking legendary. And clearly still functional. So that does look bullish as fuck, doesn't it? I think that's worth keeping an eye on, right? He's taking this level out right there. Sustains that. All you need. Let me change this color. Floor 1. Even if he corrects, right? Even if he does something like this, as long as he doesn't come through fucking like a low, he can set a low like this. He can still be like this kind of deal. So either path one is the one you see right now. He's here and he corrects that, leads like this. Or what can we use for you? Fuck it. Right, he can just stay out right now and fucking leave from there, do a head fake, come back and sustain a higher floor, and then leave from that, right? So I think that guy looks pretty fucking bullish. Alright, got them all. Shout out to Boomy, our boy. Appreciate you guys doing some bits at the show as always, sequencing. Hopefully I didn't run that time too long. It's 9:10. You guys got 20 minutes to go get ready. Like I said, right now, like the market's in a weird spot. FOMC minutes are definitely your big catalyst for the USA and GDP in the middle of the week. And you can see the market be kind of like on pause to wait for those minutes on Wednesday. So when Wednesday comes around, don't forget that. Well, I'll remind you on Wednesday morning anyway. We are probably, like I said, not out of the actual entire crash itself. Once you see people not really want to touch it, but we do want to always be mentally prepared for, both directions if it does present the opportunity. And the opportunities, like I showed you, can be pretty big when those bounces happen and sustain for long enough periods of time that, it can be a reasonably missed opportunity if you don't do anything. So, this is Bedtime Stories. Just wanted to get you guys, looking at things in a proper context and keeping things in perspective. And, if we're going to roadmap Kathy with the crash of 2001, then it makes sense to really use that roadmap, in all its resolutions that are available. That being said, I was going to pull up one more thing. I don't know if I have time for that. No, I don't have time to rebuild this chart. It's all right. I'll have to tackle that in the next one. So night show. So for everybody on the USA time zone, good luck today. I'll catch everybody who's around tonight. Peace out.
Welcome to Winternomics TV. Your stream will begin shortly.